What if you could be satisfied with what you have and never again wonder what else is out there? Unfortunately, we live in a culture that encourages people to search for something better when they're dissatisfied with their marriage or relationship. This is especially true for women, who tend to have far more expectations of men in marriage than men have of women in marriage. If you're someone who constantly compares her life to other people's lives, or to a life that you imagine is better than the one you currently have, you're doomed. Your life will be a constant cycle of misery and dissatisfaction. I want to help you avoid that. So here are 3 relationship expectations women should avoid like the plague. Number 1, my husband or partner should be my soulmate. Here's what love is not. Being swept away on a white horse by a gorgeous, svelte guy who makes a crap ton of money and who miraculously doesn't drink or gamble, but is entirely selfless, and happy to hang out with his wife and kids and even do the dishes and the laundry. This man does not exist. If he does, he's taken. Many women will say they know such expectations are unrealistic, but they don't accept it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be so chronically dissatisfied all the time. And honestly, it's the culture that did it to them. By the time the average woman gets married, she's been drowning her entire life in rom-coms. These films are meant to be an escape from real life, but rarely are women impervious to the messaging. Women feed off romance. We inhale that stuff. But it's all fantasy. How is it possible that of the millions of men in the world, a woman is supposed to find this one man who will fulfill all of her dreams and whose goals and personality mesh so beautifully with hers she will never be disappointed or dissatisfied? The soulmate concept sets the bar too high. It's totally unsustainable. At the end of the day, marriage is a much more pragmatic undertaking than we wish it were. In fact, life in general is a much more pragmatic undertaking than we wish it were. Life can't be endless excitement and entertainment, and if you're always seeking the next big thrill ride, you're destined to be disappointed. The only way to make peace with the choice you've made, unless it was a colossally stupid choice, is to get comfortable with the mundane and to find joy within that. Stay focused on what you do have and forget about what you don't. Number 2, marriage should be 50-50, my favorite. No expectation has been more damaging to women and to marriage than the bogus notion of sexual equality, which suggests that men and women are interchangeable. They are not interchangeable. They are gloriously and demonstrably different. And the faster you accept this, the faster your relationship will improve. A marriage can be team-oriented without both partners living identical lives. Let's say you and I went into business together. To make it work, we would no doubt divvy up the tasks associated with that business. You'd be responsible, say, for getting the bookkeeping done and for getting new clients, whereas I'd be responsible for working with those clients. In order for the business to operate effectively, both of our tasks are equally important. Without one, we don't have the other. It's the same way with marriage. Raising a family requires a boatload of tasks that are impossible for one person to do alone successfully. That's why there's 2 parents, ideally. If there's respect in the marriage, it shouldn't make any difference who's performing which task. If you choose to tally up a score, as the culture encourages you to do, you're destined to become resentful. And nothing will kill your marriage faster than resentment. Number 3, my man or my marriage should make me happy. Being happily married doesn't mean you're always happy. On any given day, week, month, or year, you may not be happy. In fact, there are times when you may be miserable and when your marriage or relationship sucks. So go with it. Let it suck. Ride that wave. The reason marriage is hard is because life is hard. Don't assume that whatever is happening means you married the wrong man or that your marriage is doomed. Don't assume that because things aren't working out the way you envisioned that you need a new life. If you're chronically unhappy and there's massive conflict, that's obviously something to address. But even if that is the case, it isn't necessarily your spouse or the marriage that's creating your unhappiness. So many women convince themselves that a new man or a new life will make them happier. But the answer to our discontent rests within us. If a person remarries without this knowledge in place, she will find herself back in divorce court, ending a second marriage, no better off than she was with the first. Second marriages have a much higher rate of divorce than first, and third from second, and that is a big portion as to why. The good news is that once you accept marriage isn't supposed to make you happy, a weight is lifted. By recognizing that satisfaction and contentment begin and end with you, your energy can be focused in the right direction, and that will lead to real results.